All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm EJ Krans. I work at a not-for-profit organization called Capital District Community Gardens. It's in Troy, New York. I'm the project coordinator of a mobile produce market called the Veggie Mobile, and I'm talking today about mobile markets as vehicles for nutritional equality. About 4.5 years ago, the Department of Health of New York State awarded our organization a 5-year grant to build a low-cost, innovative public health intervention. In late 2006 and early 2007, we labored to create our mobile market that we call the Veggie Mobile, and we launched it in April of 2007. And our market sells low-cost, high-quality fruits and vegetables to low-income communities and senior independent living communities. You might ask yourself, why build a mobile market when we have grocery stores, or why not farmers markets or corner stores? Why a mobile market? For the Capital District Community Gardens, that answer was simple. It's because our community really needs something like this. Our mission is to nourish healthy communities by providing access to fresh food and green spaces for all. And in 1975, we formed around the idea that community gardens could provide that access. But over the years, we've noticed that the access to fresh food is a little more difficult than that. One thing to discuss is that communities that don't have good access to fresh food, a term that some people call it, is a food desert. It's an urban area that may not look like a desert, but fresh food options have deserted many of our low-income neighborhoods, to the point where if you were plunked down in the middle of a city, especially a low-income urban area, you might be up to 2 miles away from a grocery store that has fresh food options. And this slide here, I hope, kind of shows what that means. In the middle of the left slide is Arbor Hill. It's right here in Albany. And on the left here, these yellow symbols denote full-service grocery stores. The one on the top left is our food co-op, the Honest Weight Co-op, and that's actually going to be moving further uptown and off of this slide. On the right is the red symbols denote all of the fast food and convenience store options within Arbor Hill. And for those of you who've ever taken a gander into a corner market, you'll notice that there's not a lot of fresh food options and healthy food options. It's mostly the shelves are packed with junk foods, and there's frozen food options and sodas and beer and cigarettes. So it's not very easy to find the things that you may need. So I just went backwards. There we go. But historically, our urban areas did have thriving food environments. The cities at the turn of the 20th century, before the real onset of the automobile and the suburban trends, the urban sprawl trends of the 20th century, we had thriving food environments. This image on the right over here shows the white carriage crossing the road here is the milkman. That was delivering milk all through the city. And actually, the building here in the middle is actually the Market Block Books in Troy. Now it's Market Block Books. Back in the day, it was a grocery store that had full service for all sorts of fruits and vegetables and all the staples you would need. And it was actually prime real estate to have a grocery store directly downtown. Currently today, it's not the same situation. Also, this is a farmer's market that probably beats any farmer's market our region has. This was the Little Italy farmer's market in Troy. So that was back in the day. But now, if you go to one of these urban low-income communities, transportation is now something you have to consider if you want to have a fresh diet. And some people can't afford to have a car. There's some access barriers to eating healthy. One is financial access. If you can't afford to have a car, or if you can't afford the types of foods that are healthy, it's a difficult thing to have that type of diet. Also, there's the transportation or physical access barrier, which if you look at the person carrying all of these bags up here, think about like a head of cabbage might weigh about 5 to 6 pounds. A watermelon might weigh 13 to 15 pounds if you get a nice big size one. Carrying fresh produce, as well as all of the other staples that you might need, can dissuade somebody from regularly eating those types of things, especially if they have to take the bus. So there's those types of access issues. And then there's other types of access issues. We have, this is a knowledge knowledge access. You might not know how to cook fruits and vegetables. You may never have really learned those types of things, one. Or two, dollar for dollar and pound for pound, a $5 salad won't feed a family the way a $5 pizza would. And when you do choose the salad, if the only lettuce you've ever had in your life is iceberg lettuce and money is tight, you're not likely to gamble and go and buy a romaine lettuce, even though you may have heard that it has about twice the nutritional value. And on top of that, if you've never tasted farm fresh produce, if all you've ever had is monoculture, industrial varieties picked a week before and brought to the store for you to buy, you may not be enticed to eat a fresh food diet. I've heard a lot of people who say that they hate fruits and vegetables. Well, so really what this points to is that environment really does matter. The numbers really bear it out. People living in low-income communities have higher rates of diabetes and heart disease. And so we have to ask ourselves a question. If we let this problem persist down the line, do we want to have to pay the medical bills that might be piling up, or do we intervene now? And as I said, our organization, Capital District Community Gardens, intervened. And we tried to fill the nutrition gap with our gardens, and they've been popping up all over the region for the past 35 years. But we realized, again, it wasn't going to be enough. That's when our executive director, Amy Klein, found this funky little market. It's the People's Grocery mobile market. It was on the road for about 2 years, around 2005, 2006. And they had a full-service organic grocery store on this mobile market. And when she saw that, she also saw all the colorfulness of it. There's actually solar on the roof. It has a sound system. It plays music. It seems really fun. So she thought this would be perfect for our community. Our region has 5 major cities. Of those cities, they're all within a half hour of each other, and they all have food desert-like qualities. So it's like, oh, this would be a great idea. And we applied for that grant at the Department of Health with our model, which was to have a self-contained mobile market, which the self-contained market itself is something that you can pack everything into a truck, load it up really fast, and then when you get to the stop, unload all of the pieces to the puzzle, get it set up in about a minute, and then when the stop is done, it packs up nicely and gets on the road. Also, being mobile, it can go to all these different places. That helps to provide the physical access. Offering low prices, we sell everything at the wholesale price, the same price that we buy it for, which is the financial access that we offer. We build relationships, educational relationships on the truck, which helps to provide that knowledge access. And lastly, we cause unavoidable joy. We just felt like it needed to have that quality, something fun, something that brought community. And so we built our mobile market to be bright and fun. And we play music. One of the things that we like to do is we like to play music that has a rhythm that people, almost like wedding music, I would say. We play Michael Jackson, we play Motown, we play funk and soul and all that kind of stuff. And when we arrive, we actually invite people up onto a box truck. How many people have been up on a box truck before? People don't know what to do with it when we arrive. We invite them up, and they come into this market space, and they're met with fruits and vegetables of all different colors and variety that we purchased earlier in the morning at the farmer's market. So it's as fresh as can be. It's purchased at the farmer's market, most of it. Can't buy bananas at the farmer's market. But take it straight from there, right to our low-income and senior communities for them to purchase. I'm going to show you, this is a video. That started fast. This is an hour and a half shrunk down to 21 seconds. This is at South Mall Towers in Albany, New York. The guy who just keeps hanging around there is one of our usual customers. And out in front of the truck, if you may have noticed, there was actually a food tasting going on. That's our educational component. We prepare easy recipes for our customers to try. For instance, what that tasting was a grape and apple salad, which we were trying to encourage people to try different types of greens in their diet. Again, the romaine lettuce. We were also telling them to try to mix it with things like with spinach, and by putting like a grape or an apple into your salad, if you love grapes or you love apples, you're more likely to eat more salad. And our customers were like, wow, I never even thought of having that sort of thing. And also we've done like something as simple as an ear of corn spritzed with lime. And I don't know if any of you have ever had that before, but it tastes great. And a lot of people think an ear of corn should have like a little butter on it, a little bit of salt. Cut that right out of the picture with the lime, and it really is a popular thing. And it's an easy solution that doesn't take much time. And we over the second and third year of our service, we had a research conducted about the Veggie Mobile that showed that we were a success, on par with many other more complicated and expensive interventions. But tucked at the end of the research report, our researcher mentioned something about how it was almost unanimous from all of the customers that they talked to that the most important thing to them was the social aspect of the Veggie Mobile, which really kind of blew us up for a second. It's like, wow, is that really what they see? Is it possible that causing unavoidable joy was the most important thing that our customers were going to find about this thing? All those practical reasons, we built this market, and that's what they choose. Well, it's not like we thought extensively about the customer relations, customer service sort of stuff. I remember the first day that we took the truck out, we went to a place called Kennedy Towers in Troy, and when we got the ramp set up and we got the whole thing set up, I got out of the truck and immediately started shaking hands with everybody and introducing myself and asking names. And my executive director was there, and she called me the mayor of the Veggie Mobile. And to this day, that is part of our customer service. We ask all of our customers' names. And if we have 3 people on the truck, that third person is a roving mayor of the Veggie Mobile, trying to get to know people. And we've been hiring, I guess, sociable, enthusiastic, and idealistic, youthful people, active people, doers, people who believe that they can produce positive change in our cities with food and friendship at the core. And I've started calling our staff civic-minded educator peddlers. We're peddling produce, but we're also peddling the idea that eating healthy is great for your family and your community. Eating together means we're meeting together. And we encourage dietary curiosity. It's like if you get the idea that being curious about food is exciting, then you're likely to find it something that you want to be taking part in regularly. And so one of the unforeseen consequences that came with building a truck, a mobile market, is that the space also is conducive to this sort of thing. It's a small box, and this you see there's about 5 people on the truck here. That space tightens up really fast, and people are thrown out of their comfort zones. You go to a retail space, if you go to a grocery store, usually you have ample space to avoid everybody else. In this situation, you're thrown directly into your neighbor's arms. They're trying to not bump butts with somebody, and it causes people to step outside of their comfort zone, which then we take advantage of because now they're out of their comfort zone, and we can start pushing things on them. These kids came on with popsicles, and we got them to try red peppers instead. And one of my favorite things to do is raw red peppers because so many people think you have to cook peppers. And we just cut up a little red pepper, and we try to get people to eat it. And usually they'll turn us down. And one of the things I like to talk about is that you have really, I've read this behavioral like habit change sort of thing. And it's funny that our first presenter talked about this. But I've read that there's 5 stages to habit change. The first one being that you have no idea you have to change a bad habit about yourself. The second one is that you get prepared to change that bad habit about yourself. The third one is that you actually start changing it. Then you have to keep it up for long enough that the bad habit is gone entirely. And when you're standing on a truck and you've never even thought of eating a raw pepper before, and somebody is kind of pressuring you to try it right now, you almost just take the first 2 right out of the picture and go directly to action, because now you're putting it in your mouth. You haven't even thought about it, and all of a sudden you're eating it, and you're like, oh, wow, that's a great thing. I've never even thought of doing that before. So that's the sort of stuff that we try to do on the Veggie Mobile. And unlike the farmer's market, we don't stop coming when the season ends in October or November. We keep on going right through the winter, and they start to think, wow, these people are absolutely crazy. And ultimately they start to think, wow, how are they still having so much fun? What's the secret? And I guess you really have to imagine it from the customer's perspective. That video that you saw in fast motion, imagine that spot. It's 11 a.m., you're at South Mall Towers, and you know that the Veggie Mobile is going to be outside in a couple minutes. And we're typically late by 5 or 10 minutes every week. It's impossible to get on time. And you grab your coat, you grab your bags, and you make your list, and you're going. You expect this truck to be pulling up any second. And you walk down there, and the first thing you hear is Michael Jackson playing in the city street somewhere, and it comes around the corner and pulls in, and all of a sudden it's setting up, and you're already thinking about going onto the truck, and then there's other people around, and there's this swirl of excitement, and you buy your produce, and you get off the truck, and it disappears, and the only evidence you have that this thing just happened is the produce that you have in your hands. And that's the symbol of the excitement that you just had. And when you take that back to your apartment building or your room or whatever, and you cook it, you can't help but think about that. And you hope that you can pass that on to maybe a friend or a family, that sort of excitement that you've just found around fruits and vegetables. And so each person we enlist into a healthy eating lifestyle now is one less person getting sick from obesity and heart disease later, and that means money saved down the road. A project like the Veggie Mobile doesn't cost much to get set up or run, and once the truck is on the road, the only real costs are maintenance and salary. In a country short on jobs and thick with obesity, we could use smarter public projects that create jobs, cost next to nothing, and provide the type of habit change now that have huge payoffs down the road. And now's the time, because as we all know, the food movement is creating an upswell in just the kind of enthusiasm that we need, just the right kind of enthusiasm to create a healthy revolution. So thank you for letting me speak for you today.
Yeah.